I'm here. I'm here. Hello, 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 hello. Okay, I think I got my intro. Cancel? I don't know what that was. Let's get it together. 6 p.m. in the evening. We're here to talk 90 Day. So stop on by and have a kiki. A drama of the other way. Set the time and the day, 5 after 6 on Sunday. Catch me live or hashtag replay gang. Either way, you've made my day. One more time. 6 p.m. in the evening. We're here to talk 90 Day. Stop on by to have a kiki. Drama of the other way. Set the time and the date, 5 after 6 on Sunday. Catch me live or hashtag replay game. Either way, you've made my day. Hey! Welcome, you guys. As per usual, we'll get started 5 minutes in. So there's the song. Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. Brenda, thank you. Thank you very much. I have it recorded and I keep listening to it on loop so that I can hear it, so that I can sing it. So here, let me put it on for you guys. It's gonna evolve, right? It's gonna evolve, but here's the basic gist. 6 p.m. in the evening, we're here to talk 90 Day. Stop on by to have a kiki, a drama the other way. Set the time and the date, 5 after 6 on Sundays. Catch me live or hashtag replay game. Either way, you made my day. Thanks. It could be better. It could be better, my voice. It used to be better when I used to sing all the time. I did it. I did do it. Okay. Did everybody watch the episode? Did everybody go and get their Discovery Plus on Verizon? Summer of Dragonfly, Domestic Gordita, Brenda B, Mickey. We've got Jasmine. We've got Mari. We've got 18 people in the room and hopefully 18 likes. Thank you to those of you who are always here, always ready to cheer me on. If at any point you would like to leave a tippity-doo-dah, please go on ahead and do so. And as per usual, we'll get started in about a minute and a half. Haven't seen the episode, just will watch the recap. Okay. I'll tell you what happened. I'll tell you what happened. Dee 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 dee. I mean, if it's not going to be good, Mickey, don't do it, please. I don't need to hear anybody sing poorly, okay? I'm on TikTok all day, every day, okay? You don't need to send it. You don't need to send it. Marsha Endeavor, yes, 2 lives in one day. It's what it is, because I can't do anything during the week, it feels like. So Saturdays and Sundays are the days that we get it all done. Doris Delaney, hello, my dear. Hello. I most of it didn't finish the episode because I had a guest. Oh, I get you. Okay, a couple seconds. Here we go. Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to my recap of 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way. This is season 3, episode 6. Proceed with precaution. You guys, don't forget to share my video on any social media you deem fit. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and let's jump right into the episode. First couple that we are going to talk about, because they're at the top of my brain right now, is, I don't even know what I did with the, well, there it is. Steven and Alina. Okay, let's just rip the Band-Aid off and talk about them, because this episode, while it wasn't hard, it was interesting, because I'm starting to think of Alina as being more of a manipulator, and she's doing a lot for me. I don't know. Is she doing a lot for anybody else? Does anyone else think that she's doing the most, or that it's unnecessary, and it's hard to watch because of that? Even though Steven with his antics provides us a lot of entertainment and he keeps me on my feet, and as long as I'm talking ish about somebody, that means that they're entertaining me to a certain extent, right? Can we just admit that? Because if I didn't have anything to say, then it's like, oh, they're super boring. So Steven and Alina move into a new apartment due to the space, because since he's decided that he's just going to go on ahead and live with her and fight temptation, fight the snake at every door, underneath every cover, they decided to move to a better house or better apartment. And it's really cute. It is a very cute apartment. And I was like, oh, the little gate outside, oh, so cute, little courtyard. Oh, I loved it. So still makes me really want to go and visit Turkey, because I feel like that all the B-roll, that guy in the ice cream, all the food, I want it all. I want to eat everything. Okay. I want to eat it all. So they're looking around the space, and Steven makes some silly comments like, oh, look, we could jump out of our window into the pool. And she's like, ha, and he's like, well, I mean, we wouldn't, but we could if we wanted to. And then he goes to fill out the couch, because that's where he will be sleeping. So he wants to make sure that it's nice and comfortable. And then he says, all right, let's go for a walk. But first, let's unpack. And she's like, okay. So when they go for a walk, they end up in this area where there's a pack of wild dogs. And Steven is just so comfortable. He's just petting the flea-infested felines. They're not felines, but I couldn't think of an F word. The flea-infested dogs. He's like, get out of here, dogs. We're filming. So Steven has a really good idea. He brings out a notebook, and it's like a handy-dandy tool for those buddying, the men who buddy up during their missionary work. And because they're working, in pairs, they have to learn to get along. And some of the sort of exercises they have them do help them to check in with each other to ensure that there's no fighting. So it's, hey, what are we grateful for? How well do we work together? And this is why we work well together, and what things aren't working, what things about me are bothering you right now. It's just a general check-in. And I think in any relationship, it was good. So I was actually happy that he wanted them to do that. And so they did it. And he said that, one of the things that shows that they really love each other is that they both decided to give up their lives and move to Turkey so that they can give their love a chance. And so she agreed that was, with what was going on. And then she asks him the question that I think she's been thinking about this entire time, which is, did you date other girls? Remember when we had that conversation prior to, when you asked me if you could date other girls, and I said, no, I didn't want you to. Did you do that? And he's like, yeah, I did. And she gets upset, and he says, well, I wasn't sure if you were the one, because at that point we had only spent 2 weeks together, and I just didn't think that it was enough for me to put my life on hold. So he can see that she's visibly upset, and he doesn't want to go on with the conversation. They kind of end the conversation there. And the next day, Alina ends up talking with Masha and finds out that Steven actually replied to Masha's inquiry about wherever it is that he was in the world at the time. Looks like it was the US. And his response is, well, hello, smiley face. Yeah, so everyone says it's best here in the winter. So that's when you should come. And so, Masha and 20-year-old Alina decide that that means that Steven is inviting the girl to come to the US and that he would then be, I don't know, her sponsor? Girl, I don't know. But the communication wasn't directly saying, come here and I'll take care of you, but it also wasn't saying, I have a girlfriend, don't talk to me. It was somewhere in between. And I don't necessarily see him responding to Masha as being bad. And even Alina says that sometimes his friendliness is going to get him in trouble, that she's worried about his friendliness. And so they have a conversation, these two brilliant 20-year-olds, and they decide that they're going to continue to test Steven, that they're not just going to leave it at that and have Alina be like, hey, you responded to my friend and this is what I'm doing because I'm so insecure about our relationship. No. They're going to continue this silly 20-year-old behavior that's supposed to prove something when we all know it's like not going to prove anything. So next scene we have with them is her and him feeding feral cats, it seems, on the water side. I don't know what they're doing, girl, but they have cat food. Do they have a cat? No. So the conversation comes up again about Steven, still dating other girls. And so Alina asks, did you kiss any of the other girls that you went on dates with? And he says, yes. Now, this is his opportunity to say that he did more than kiss them. He kissed them up there and he kissed them down there. That's his opportunity to say that. I kissed them up here. I also kissed them down there. He doesn't say it because he realizes how pissed she is. And she's pissed. And he's like, you know what? I'm a big dreamer and I like to talk about the future. And I do feel bad that my words didn't match my level of commitment. However, there was no way for me to know that Alina was the person for me. And in fact, it wasn't until a month ago when we both decided to give up our lives that I stopped seeing those other women who I've kissed up here and I've also kissed down below. So I see where Steven is coming from to a certain extent. And did he low-key deceive this girl into not kissing other boys and staying, sort of faithful to him? Yes, but also she's a fool because they live in completely different countries and they've only been with each other for 2 weeks and they met on social media. So regardless of if they had a fake or pseudo conversation, like me with my 39-year-old brain says that wasn't real. Whatever conversation they had wasn't real. Now I know at the time for Alina, it was real and it was solidifying and making her feel like she didn't have to look no more. She found her man and they're going to get married and they're going to move to Turkey and they're going to have this whirlwind romance. And I guess I just think to myself, why is it that any person thinks that them getting married to somebody is going to mean great things for them? Is that a weird way to say it? Like, okay, here's the deal. I guess when I think of marriage, I think of compromise. And when I think of compromise, I think of having to let go of the things that you really like to do. Now, as a 20-year-old, I didn't know those things that I really like to do. Was very sheltered. I didn't know who I was. So me getting married at 20 would have been a huge mistake and it would not have lasted. And I'm assuming that most modern women are somewhat like me to where they're like, there are things that they want to do in life and having a husband doesn't necessarily lend you the ability to do that, at least in your 20s. I know plenty of people who've been married since their early 20s and have had kids. However, when they had their kids, that was the main focus. And it wasn't until the kids were a little bit older and they were in their late 20s and they were coming out of their 20s and going into their 30s that both of those people were like, I've got things that I want to do. How do I do the things that work for me, still be a parent, still be a good spouse, and take care of me? How do I do that? And some people were very successful in that transition and others weren't. That is just the hard, cold reality of it. So when I see really young people who haven't done much in life talk about getting married as though that's some sort of answer or some sort of like Ah, yes, my life is really beginning now. I think to myself, maybe you don't quite understand marriage the way I think of it, which is like you have to let go of some of those things. What does the Bible say? When I was a child, I wanted childish things. There, look at me quoting the Bible. But like that is true. And so I understand Stephen's point of view with like, well, we didn't really know each other. Like I know I'm a big dreamer. I know I talked about all these things, but like, girl, I'd only seen you for like 14 days. Like, and when you asked me, or I mean, I did ask you if I could date other people. So I think that should have been like, a flag for you to know that I was asking, but more so telling than asking. And she's young, so how does she know that, right? She takes his word for what it is. And also he's like a gangling, awkward white dude from wherever. And she probably was just like, I've got this, don't worry. I've got this. He's gonna be so in love with me. And then when it found out, I mean, she feels another way. He lied, she believed, which I guess is true. I guess that is true. But did he lie? Did he lie? Is my question. Did he lie? I mean, he did lie. He did say okay, I guess. I don't know, girl. I don't know. Domestic gordita. I got married at 20 due to accidental pregnancy. Marriage lasted 5 awful years. It's a lot. Marriage is like a sealed commitment to you being dedicated to another person and their happiness and well-being. And like I don't know that I would have been able to do so without giving up what I wanted. Not that I'm a selfish person, but like sometimes, in order to grow, you have to be kind of selfish and do the things that you like. And if you are unable to do that because you are in a committed marriage, legal document, then like you're going to have to wait to do those things, which is nothing is wrong with that. But, some people don't come out of that okay. So there's that. Anywho, so I'm on Steven's side a little bit. Like, I don't understand her raging desire for him to prove his commitment. So she gets pissed because she's like, so what was I a backup plan? Like, you were still going to see all these women, but like, you didn't know if it was going to work with me. And so you basically made me not talk to other guys or led me to believe that we were exclusive when we actually weren't. And then she says, are we in a serious relationship? And are we going to get married? And he's just like, we're in a serious relationship, but I don't know if we're going to get married. I was like, all right. So she makes him promise that he won't communicate with any of his female friends. And he responds with, well, even Jesus had relationships with girls. Even Jesus had relationships with girls. Yeah, Mary Magdalene, to name one. I don't like that. And I think that's why I'm unable to untangle how I feel about Stephen telling her that I don't know, Stephen vaguely making a promise that he wasn't going to date some other girls, because I think the fact is that she's trying to wrangle him and I don't like it. I don't know why I don't like it. I don't even like Stephen, but I don't like the way that she's like, delete your social media so I feel comfortable. They're too early in their relationship. They're too young for this delete your social media conversation. Don't talk to any other women conversations. I mean, I'm noticing a definite pattern, and not to say that American women aren't equally as crazy, but I'm definitely noticing a pattern with our Eastern European women who do not want their partners talking to members of the opposite sex. Julia, Natalie, now Alina. Like, I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like that you can't talk to someone of the opposite sex conversation once you're in a relationship. But that shit is weird to me. So he still hasn't told her. So the next day, uh, they go wine tasting. And I believe Stephen agrees to go wine tasting because he knows that he has to tell her something, and so he wants to kind of give an inch so that he can drop his bomb on her. But she's like, "Let's go, Steven. Let's go wine tasting. You don't have to drink. I miss going wine tasting with my friends. Not getting drunk, but just tipsy." And he's like, "Wine tasting? It's part of my covenant with the Lord, our Father, that my body is a temple, and I'm not supposed to take those things in." And I said, "Stephen, but you've already kissed above and below. I don't understand. What's this next thing to have to go wine tasting? It's like you've already fallen off the horse once. Just walk beside the horse, okay? At this point, just walk beside it." Also, I heard of a thing with Kev on Stage Studios. I was watching one of their programming, and there is a thing called soaking in the Mormon community. Has anyone heard of soaking? No? No one's heard of soaking? I'm waiting for somebody to say yes or no so I can tell you what it is. Have you guys heard of soaking? I've been soaking. That's what I've been doing. Hey, I've been soaking. Somebody tell me that you understood it. Soaking. Soaking. Okay. So let me tell you what soaking is. If you watch, here's the thing, you know what soaking is. So soaking is, and this is, I guess, the young kids at BYU, both campuses, Idaho and Utah, is that because the temptation of sex is so strong, and you're not supposed to like entertain that at all. You're not even really supposed to be hugging or kissing on members of the opposite sex. What some young adults do in the Mormon community is the man will get erect and the woman will be juicy, and he will put his inside of her and not move, and they'll just lay there like that. His that is just soaking in the juices. Okay, there's no moving except for when he takes it out. Just hug. Just hug it, lay there. And I said, why don't y'all just do anal? Okay, just do anal. Soaking is a breach, okay? No, soaking is not a way around it, okay? You're not getting into heaven. If you soaked in college, you're not getting into heaven, you fornicator. Also, like, if you soak, doesn't that give like a warm, ample space for the sperm just to kind of leak out and travel about the county? You know what I'm saying? Travel about the cabin. Like, I just don't understand. No. I didn't forget about this because I think that the jumping on the bed part is a whole different thing, which is like at that point you're three-way. There is no way that any of my friends could convince me to go into a room and jump on the bed. That sounds like something like your guy friend would do, and the girl just like would reluctantly be a part of it. Like, how in the hell do you have a penis inside you and then you allow another person to jump on the bed to help create the friction? I just cannot. Anyways, so that is what the Mormon kids sometimes be up to. So, go on ahead and have a little taste of wine, Stephen. So they get there, and he's like, ooh, like he's walking into a den of iniquity. Like he's just walking into the den of sin. The den of sin. By trying to have some of this. And so he has, I don't have a cup here, but I do have a cup, but I don't have it. So he's over here like, Tastes like grape juice that's gone bad. Again, it reminds me of like him like, where are my snacks? Like, it's giving me a lot of that. It was really stupid. And she's there with him, looking at him. And I'm just like, girl, get out of this relationship, you two. I don't want it. Get out of this relationship. So he then tells her that he has had sexual relations with women. And she is so pissed that she cannot even speak. She is so angry that she is unable to formulate words in her language, in English at all. So here's my thing. Did she meet him as a virgin? And they'd had conversations about him being a virgin. And then when he asked to meet other girls and she said no, he proceeded to then lose his virginity to one of these girls. Wow. Wow, that's fucked up. I'm just going ahead and say it. It is what it is. That is crazy. That is crazy, 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 crazy. All right, let's move on to the next couple. Let's talk about Ginny and Sumit, because theirs was relatively short. So we've got Ginny and Sumit in some kind of, I don't know, park girl. Ginny has on a black t-shirt that has some kind of writing on it. And she's just basically like, look, okay, after Sumit has the conversation with his, the night before or after the whole, upset where the mother got up and left when he's trying to tell them that they really need to accept Ginny into the family, Sumit is on the phone with his mother and the voices start to rise. And Jenny wanted to know what that conversation was all about. Jenny wanted to know that whole conversation was all about. And he ends up telling her that his mother yelled at him and basically threatened him and was like, you have got to not have Jenny in your life, because if you have Jenny in your life, I'm going to ruin it. Like, basically, she's like, I'm unhappy. You took away your... Donnie, must you bust in on me every Sunday? Can you go give this to your mom? I'm not going to open this for you. Here. No. Exit. Close the door, please. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, I'm taking one. Get out. Bye. Close the door, please. Close the door, please. Close the door. Thank you. Look what I have to deal with. Okay. Sorry. A snack tax indeed. Okay. So basically his mother goes off the chain and she threatens him and she's causing a ruckus because she is deeply unhappy. And then Sumit says that the reason why he himself is a liar is because his mother and his father have made it that way. That the father will always do and say whatever he needs to do to keep his wife at peace. And so the sons learn to do that as well. And so that's why Sumit keeps making promises and telling lies and doing whatever, because he's just trying to placate the woman in his life, aka the boss. And now that he's gone against his mother, she really does feel like she lost that battle, and she's never lost any battles. Sumit does reveal that she did suffer the loss of an infant death. Sumit's younger sister died at 8 months old. And so ever since then, she's kind of had a yearning and a longing to, have a daughter. And when she found Sumit a wife, and that wife lived with them for 2 years, she was happy. She had the person that she needed by her side, the one to help her with domestic work and whatnot. And I think in her mind, she had 2 sons, so she was about to gain 2 daughters. that were going to help her create domestic bliss in their house. And she didn't get that because Sumit took it from her. And now she is on a rampage. So Sumit says that we grew up lying to get through situations, that he's never had any hard conversations or heavy conversations with his parents. And so now the mother is just like, you took my daughter away from me. And Jenny says the most American thing ever. Sounds like your mother needs some help, some real professional help. And then they decide that they're going to go to seek counseling and try to get the family into the counselor. Do they mean some kind of spiritual leader or like whatever? Because like I can't imagine them going to just go to counseling. I just can't imagine it. What did Domestic Gordita say? What did she say? What was the joke? I missed it. Is it this one? At Quad B, and my boyfriend was huge, but I had no idea till I was later because he was my first. What's BBBBB? Okay. I don't know. Let me get back to it. All right. So looks like next episode or later on in this season, Sumit's parents move in with them, and his mother is a ratchet ass rude mess towards Jenny, which I can't wait to see this, but I feel like it's crazy. Jenny needs psychiatric help to leave Sumit. Domestic Gordita. Domestic Gordita says she had anal before. Oh, wow. No, that's not been my experience. That has not been my experience. I'm very much like, I don't want it. No. No. That's how I react when people try to touch my butt. No. Stop it. No. I want none of it. I want none of it. Okay, so the next couple that we are going to talk about is Vic and Ellie. Now, here's what's happening. An American woman has traveled to a hurricane desolated environment. When she was first there, it was green and beautiful and it was paradise, and she was going to have a bar on the beach and live a very casual life. And then she gets there and it has been devastated and reality hits, and she's like, I don't want to be I don't want to be here. I really do feel bad for you in your situation in your life. However, here's what we're going to do. We're just going to forget Providencia, okay? We're going to forget it, and we're just going to live in San Andreas until somebody fixes it, and then we'll go back. And Vic is like, no. Because if Baba isn't there to be in Baba's house, which is his nickname, then people will just move into our house. Like we can't just let it go. Like Providencia is my home, and yes, it's been ravaged. However, it's still my home. I'm not going to move somewhere else. This is island life. This is what you do. You don't just get up and go somewhere else. And she's like, but this is overwhelming and this is a disaster and it's a lot to absorb. And I don't know if this is quite what I want. And he's like, honey, we have to rebuild. We cannot run. And she's like, no, we don't I will run. You don't run. I will run. Because I don't want to live in a place where I have to like have bottled water shipped in. Like that is not my ministry. Okay. I don't like camping. I'm not rugged. And he's like, what we'll do is we'll just stay 3 days on the island, fix everything up, repair, and then we'll come and chill here on other days. So I'm like, is he planning on just like chilling for 4 days in San Andreas and just like working really hard 3 days a week, which sounds like a plan to me, honestly. I was just like, wow. Ellie needs to stop tiptoeing around the fact that she wasn't built for this life and just be like, I can't do this, so I'm going to move back. Maybe not to Seattle. I'll move to Florida, so I'll be a little closer, okay? And you fix all this. I don't want to do that. And it's like a lot. Like, did many animals, because you have to realize though there are animals on that island too. There's a lot that people need to clean up. And this is an opportunity for people to take advantage of situations. And so Vic is like, no, 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 we cannot. We need to be on top of this. This is my home. Like, this is what it is. And she just won't say what it is that she wants. She keeps like pussyfooting around it. So she then orders a cerveza and sits down and calls her friend. And the friend is like, I know this is the wrong time to ask this, but where that hoe at? Did she survive the hurricane? The one he cheated on you with? Talking about let's rebuild. Let's rebuild our relationship first. Where that hoe at? Where that hoe at? And Ellie's like, honestly, it's a really good point. I haven't thought about it. I haven't thought about it at all. And I'm like, yeah, girl, Hiromi, I feel you, but like, this is not the time to think about it. Like, wait until we have a roof over our heads and fresh water, before we start worrying about where that hoe is. So Harumi's like, yeah, cheating pales in comparison. And I'm just like, yeah, it really does pales in the comparison. This man almost lost his life. And now she's here realizing that he is still expecting her to move here and help him rebuild. And she doesn't want to rebuild. She's like, no, somebody else rebuild. I'll come back when it's green and pretty again. A year? Is a year enough? I am just so like, what do you guys think? Tell me what you think. What would you do? You sold everything that you own in this world to move to a place to be with a man who loves you and who makes you feel special. And he is going through a really hard time right now. And you were like, I do not like camping. Oh, Jasmine says, who's to say there will never be a devastation like that again? Oh, no one. There will be. Some kind. He's saying squatters will take over. Yeah, people who didn't have much before and now have nothing now will definitely move into shelters, especially the fact that his shelter, his house is still up and running. I wouldn't have sold everything to be with a man who cheated on me 7 months ago to begin with. You're right, but let's just say it was a perfect world. I think it's a lot to ask someone to stay in that condition, especially an American. I agree. My home flooded twice, lost everything twice, had to be rebuilt twice. But we had flood insurance. This is a hard decision. I don't know what I would do. The truth is my first thought is that she should stay there and help him rebuild. But maybe she doesn't. I don't know. This is really hard because if he really wants her to help him, like physically help him, and she doesn't, that's going to cause a division in their relationship. And so if she doesn't want to do all these things, I think that she should just go home. She should help him as much as she can and be like, this is not for me. I'm so sorry, Vic, but I don't want to do this. But she also doesn't want to seem like an asshole. But here's the truth. So you either seem like an asshole and you cut your losses and you run, or you stay there and help him. And I just think to myself, what's the worst? Now, if there are mosquitoes there, I absolutely would not stay. And you know that there are mosquitoes there. I just thought about that. Unfortunately, Vic, I can't stay here. There are mosquitoes. Did you know that there are mosquitoes here? Did you know that there are mosquitoes here? And now you want me to stay here with no shelter? Sweating in this humidity with these mosquitoes? Couldn't be me. It couldn't be Wahima, Lino. So I'm a jerk. In my mind, I was like, she's kind of rude. She should stay. She says she loves him, X, Y, and Z. But then I thought about the insects, thought about the mosquitoes, and I was like, oh, hell no. I cannot be itchy for you. I cannot be itchy for you. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't. I would have told him to go back to the woman he cheated on me with to give him comfort. All right. So that's the end with them. Let's move on to Kenny and Armando. All right. So Kenny and Armando, what's happening with these two guys is Kenny is feeling some type of way after Armando tells him what happened with his dad. So Armando comes in after his conversation with his dad, and he feels really, really good about it. Oh, I need AC2 domestic gordita. I need it. I need it so much. I need it so much. I can't. I mosquitoes. I need it. Yeah, I can't. I can't. So Kenny though. So okay, there's a lot of like there's a lot of like end of the spectrum behavior happening right now with this couple, because I thought the conversation with Armando's dad was a success, was a rounding success. Okay. Even though people were like, oh, he should know whether or not he's going to attend his son's wedding. Like, the same way I live in an environment and a country and a place and a society and a space in my brain where same-sex marriage is absolutely on the exact same level as opposite sex marriage. I accept any relationship in any form. I accept any gender. I accept any feeling about that, whatever. I accept it all. I'm very liberal. Like, you tell me who you want me to look at, see you as, and I see you as that. Okay? Like, I don't care. But also, there is another side of that where there are entire countries that still really see homosexuality and anything other than a heterosexual, heteronormative relationship as some kind of deviance, especially those countries that have a heavy, religious, specifically Catholic upbringing and background. Like, you're not just going to be able to tell this person, accept me for who I am and come to my wedding, or I'm going to be mad at you and you're not going to be my parent anymore. Like, the fact that the man says it is okay and says, I still love you. You're my child. I still love you and I want you to be happy and I'm glad you're happy with Kenny is huge. And Kenny is frustrated that Armando, I don't know, isn't forcing his father to come to the wedding, isn't throwing down the gauntlet saying, you either come to this wedding or you don't really love me. Like, do you really love me if you don't come to my wedding? Like, there are people who I love the house boots down and I'm not going to their wedding. like, like, it's not the same. It's not the same. I'm adding light to it. It's not the same. But I just don't, like, I am like, listen, I am worried for Kenny and Armando living in the country that they live in, because I'd be worried. Like, have you guys, I don't know if you know this, anyways, there's a show on HBO Max called We're Here, and it's starring Eureka, Shangela, and Bob the drag queen, and these are all drag queens from RuPaul's Drag Race, and they go to little Bible Belt towns, what it feels like, half the episode I watched. They go to towns that don't have a huge LGBT community, or at least like outward community. Like, they're there, but they're not like in the streets chanting. There's no pride parade. You know what I'm saying? And they go there and they try to like just kind of bring LGBTQ. I don't know what honestly, I don't know what they're trying to do. I don't know if they're there for the heteronormative folk or they're there for the queer folk. To me, it would make more sense if they only went to these spots to show the queer folks some love. But for the most part, I kind of thought I saw them like in the town square passing out flyers to like the heteronormatives. And I was worried for them. I cannot watch drag queens that I love be in spaces where people are going to say homophobic things to them. So that happens in the US. When you go outside of the US, where there aren't pride parades, where things are different, I'm even more worried. So it's very odd for me that Kenny does not understand Armando's position. I do. I understand Armando's position, and I worry for them. I worry for their lives. Because just as we had and have situations like Matthew Shepard and the countless and nameless, Black trans women of color trans women who have gone missing or died or been murdered in this country, that shit could easily happen somewhere else. So it frustrates me that Cassidy and Kenny are unable to be okay with where Armando and Armando Sr. are with their handling of this. So Kenny says that he understands and he sees that Armando is very happy and he doesn't want to rock the boat or make Armando feel bad. So he's going to hold back his feelings. And I'm like, yeah, hold back your feelings. Because while I see why you have them, they're not okay or helpful in this scenario at all. So, he says, like, I'm not convinced. You have to fully accept me. This whole idea that they need to fully accept by going to the wedding. He needs dad's commitments. So the next scene with them is they go to the fabric store to get fabric for Hannah's flower girl dress, and she's going to get fitted. They're going to look for material. And, Deborah, who is Armando's sister, and Armando's mom and Cassidy have a really good conversation where, Cassidy is like, thank you so much for accepting my family. And I feel I'm in an imposition or a weird space because I'm not used to being around people who don't find my home life or my family structure as okay. And then Deborah's like, you have to understand us, that up until a year ago, our brother wasn't gay. My brother wasn't gay. My brother was married. My brother was married and had a child, and his wife died tragically. And he's been living his life as one thing, and then one day he tells us that's not true, and he's had this whole other life, and by the way, here's my boyfriend. And by the way, I'm moving in with him, and I'm taking Hannah with me. And it's a completely different thing. Like, Shianti, thank you so much for the Venmo. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that Venmo. My heart goes out to you. Thank you so much. Heart, 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 heart. I'll write you a note on Venmo. And so they have this really good conversation where Deborah's being the interpreter, and she's explaining that as much as you have never been around people like us, we've never been around people like you. And Cassidy's like, my dad is a good person. He was a good mom and a good dad, and he raised us. He did our hairs. So Hannah is in a really good environment, as well as probably better now because this is his second go around. And so, mom is crying, but this is a lot for them. Like, you know how many foreigners look at America and be like, well, those are crazy Americans over there. Like, that's the American standard. And like, that just don't understand the fact that America has a space for LGBTQ. I mean, a long way to go, but there's a space for, queer folk to thrive and survive and live a happy, healthy, normal life in the US, where in some countries that is not the norm at all. And if they're too happy, and if they're too prosperous, and if they're too settled and in love, that someone could just take it upon themselves as some kind of holy crusader to go and ruin everything for them simply because they don't agree with their lifestyle. So, I mean, it frustrates me, Kenny's frustration, because I'm like the dad has his feelings too, and it takes a second, and allow them the space to move past something that they've never had to deal with, nor anyone they know have had to deal with. It's completely foreign. The fact is that he comes out and talks to his son. The fact is that he talks to his son's partner. That's huge. That's huge. There are people in the United States who haven't seen their kids. Many of queer parents of queer children, have kicked their children out and haven't seen them nor hide no hair of them since the person came out. So I'm like, Armando's in a good spot. Okay, so there's a lot of crying because Cassidy, girl, she can't help it. She just cry, cry, cry. And then next scene is Kenny and Armando leaving, and they're in a good spirits. They go to the compound to pick up Hannah. And when they get there, they, the producers make it seem like we don't know if Armando Sr. is going to come out of the house, but he ends up coming out of the house. He hugs Armando, gives him a kiss, gives Cassidy a necklace. Okay, cry, cry, cry. Kenny's like, where's my necklace? And it's just like cute. It was a cute moment where they were like very gracious and thankful that the family came and that they were supportive. And it was just a really, really cute moment. So it was a cute moment, and I'm happy for them. So Kenny says that he hopes that them coming out of the house and showing support and love isn't just a facade, and that they'll actually show up to the wedding. So, Now, whether or not they show up to the wedding and how Kenny and Armando feel about that afterwards, I will never be in that situation, so I'll never understand. So if they do feel some kind of way about it, I won't hold it. I won't hold them. I won't have an opinion about it. However they feel is however they feel with the actual wedding. But the idea that you need an answer right now, and if I don't get an answer right now, that means you hate me, like is hard for me. So there's that. I'm reading the comments real quick. My family never meant any harm, but it wasn't thought to teach me. They did their best with how they knew how. I have a feeling that they're going to show up too. All right. So next couple, last couple. Yeah, great. Ugh, last couple. All right. So we've got Ari and Benny. I don't know what this couple, like, I do like them because they keep me on my toes. I never quite know what I'm going to feel or think after watching their segments because it's pseudo all over the place, right? Like, I just never know how I'm going to feel. I never know how I'm going to feel. So, okay. In this episode, they're getting Avi ready to go to the pediatrician because he has a bulge in his groin. Like whenever he gets upset or he's crying and they're changing him or they see it, like in his groin area, there is a bulge. And immediately I'm upset. I'm like, oh, take that baby to the doctor. How long has this bulge been in there? Oh, So they go to the doctor and Ari makes a comment about him peeing on the doctor when he sees them. And lo and behold, they get to the doctor's office and Avi 100% does pee on the doctor. And once his pamper gets pulled down, now this is what I think. I think with little boys, like when the cold the sensation hits their little nether regions, they just pee. It's like, oh, it was in there. Release, So the doctor, after just looking at the place where the bulge seemingly is, decides that it's time for surgery on a 9-month-old. And I was like, are they going to do any tests? Like, are there not tests? And listen, in Ethiopia or in the States, if I tell my doctor that my child has a bulge and my doctor feels like in the next breath just looks and doesn't even see the bulge, just looks and goes, oh, that's a hernia surgery, I'd be like, nurse, second opinion, nurse. I need somebody else in here because I don't know why we just jumped from A to Z, but I feel like we're at Z. Maybe not A to Z. We jumped from A to X, and I need a second opinion. I would have been very upset. Like, very upset. And she was trying to take all this in, and then she's like, and you have parents who are both medical professionals? Do you? I'm sorry. If you are in a foreign country and you have parents who are medical professionals and someone tells you that your child has a hernia and needs a surgery, is there any thought in your mind about where you're going to go for that surgery? Now, I need everyone just to settle back into it, regardless of if she bought the ticket without him knowing. In what world do you stay in that country when you have parents who are medical professionals? I would be on the next flight to the States. And the fact that he is even trying to convince her, I understand why. But the fact that he's even trying to convince her is like, I'm sorry, this is a losing game. This is a losing battle. No thought if my dad's a doc, that's where my son is going. 100% back to the States. 100%. Okay, not the States. Okay, girl, you can go to Canada. Well, I'm going back to North America, is what I'm saying. And north of Mexico, North America. I don't care. I don't care. You're not cutting into my child. You are not cutting into my child. No. You know who is, though? My dad's best friend. That's just cutting into my child. Like, absolutely not. He's putting his fear above the best decision for their son. Now, midwife Crystal says it's very common. Her family could have done a video visit with the pediatrician, but they want her back there anyway. So, listen, no, you wouldn't. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay. Okay, Sela. Okay. That's his child too. Shake my head. You're right. That is his child too. But I guess I'm just starting to be a little bit more on Ari's side because I feel like while she's wrong for her reaction and the way she behaved and treated him with Leandro coming, I do believe that she has been trying to explain to Benny the things that she needs from him, and he is not providing those things. Her parents help pay for the apartment that they're living in. So how can she ever trust him? She's moved to his own country, and what he is able to do in his own country is not enough for their lifestyle. In fact, I honestly don't think it ever was. Remember that little hovel that he tried to move her into? Even before the pandemic, Benny never had enough money to even have a family. That's what it looks like to me. Because if I were Binyam, like I get that I mean maybe I just don't understand. Does he not have enough education to get certain jobs? Or his sister's not working either? Is his life set up in a way to where he's just like solely an artist and works odds and end jobs and every single one of them has been lost due to the pandemic? And if that's the case, yes, Ari is wrong for having a kid with a man who cannot support her. But at the end of the day, she has to make the best decisions as a mother for her child. And the first wrong decision was to have a child with a man who couldn't afford them. But the next right decision is to take her child to a place where she can afford for him to be happy and healthy. Now, she's made that median with her parents, some kind of deal where they're paying the bill for her to live in a foreign country in order to make that man who can't even afford for them to be there comfortable. I think she's already made it. But you tell me my child needs a hernia? I'm getting on a plane and my dad is doing it. Or, you can't do it in the United States because of the laws or whatever. You can't work on people that you are close to. But I mean, these are now the consequences. So yes, Sela, I do understand. Arcella, am I saying your name right? Please correct me. But that's just the way I feel. I would definitely go home. I would definitely go home. I mean, it was one thing if Benny could afford the best. He's like, I'll take you to specialists. I'll do whatever. And I'm like, you should have been said that. But he's already just trying to be like, oh, no, don't leave. It's fine. We have doctors here. Ethiopia is great. Now, I don't doubt it. But for my own comfort, for my very first child who's been told that they need surgery, I'm freaking out. Okay. So she makes a decision that she's going to go on ahead and take Ari. And so a couple of days later, she tells him in the barbershop that she's already bought a ticket to go to the US and that's where she's going. And she's crying and she's very upset because she knows he's going to be upset. He's so pissed that he can't even talk to her. And he thinks it's manipulative of her to even have told him in the barbershop because he couldn't yell and get upset. In fact, she's crying before she even tells him. And he's getting his hair cut and he just sits there. He's like, no, tell me it's okay. No, what's wrong? What's wrong? Tell me. And I'm like, you see your woman crying and you still sit there getting a haircut? Get up. Get up, take me outside and ask me what's going on and why I'm crying. You don't just sit there and continue getting your haircut and then you stop the haircut when you hear news that you don't like. Talking about you need fresh air. So then they go outside and he's like, I won't allow it. I'm like, allow what? You don't even pay your own rent. What are you going to allow? So then he gets on his knees and she's like, let's get out of the street and let's have this conversation. Next scene we have is her going to the spa with his sisters. Part of the, I guess, the caveat of her being able to go back to the US without him putting up much of a fight. There's really nothing that he could do. What's he going to do besides restrain her? No. So he's like, you have to tell my family that you're leaving with Avi. You do it. And I said, I can't be with this guy. He's a punk. I can't be with this guy. Absolutely not. So they go into this spa, which is a dream. I mean, it's like a yoni steam. You know what I'm saying? to tighten up the cervix and the vagina muscle, there is a caffeine honey mask, which is like all natural. I mean, it was coffee, but that's what you use the caffeine on your skin. It helps your skin. And then there's like a shea butter, like scalp moisturizing treatment. And she's acting like she's being like tussled to and fro. Now, they might be a little rough with her, but girl, take it in. This is real raw spa. I loved every moment of it. I want to be in that spa. Huh. And so she tells her sister-in-law, like, I'm going to go back to the United States and I'm taking Avi for his surgery. And the other sister pretend like all of a sudden she don't understand, don't speak anything. What she say? Oh, she's leaving and going to the United States. And now Wish and the sister are feeling real stupid, real dumb, because they start to cry. And she's like, I know that, maybe you are mad because of the way when your ex-husband come to the States and the way we've been treating you, but we ask that you please not take Avi away from us. Please, just leave him sometime, let him come. And I felt so good in my soul. I don't know how Ari wasn't sitting up there like, well, now the tables have turned. You guys were unnecessarily being absolute bitchs to me for months now. And now I'm taking Avi and going, and you're over here crying because you've messed up. You know that I have every right to leave you based on the way you've been treating me. And Ari she's better than me, girl. She was like, no, I don't want you to think that. Look at me. I'm going to bring him back. She's really trying to make these people feel comfort and solace in the fact that she's bringing this baby back, but she don't need to do anything, okay? Life in Ethiopia is not what it was supposed to be. Her parents are paying the bills, and now her son is ill. And while it may be routine, as some of you guys are saying, she's going to take this baby and go do what's best for the baby, period, point blank. And you don't have anything to say about it because you didn't do what you were supposed to do, period. And now I don't feel any ways about it. And then they're like, oh, I have a hard time with white women. Now all of a sudden she's a white woman. Before she was just American. Now she's a white woman. And I said, well, good for you. Good for you. This is what you bloody get. This is what you absolutely bloody get for the way you treated Ari. Doubting her, doing all this stuff with Leandro, like Wish being like, well, she stayed in the apartment with, but like, girl, Ari's so much better than me. I wouldn't have made them feel like anything. I would have been like, yeah, you guys were awful to me. But at this time, I really do need to be around my family. I just need to be around people who love me. And it's hard being here. I asked Binyam to get a job. I asked him to come home. I asked him to communicate with me, and he doesn't do those things. And I want a relationship with you, and you backstab me and make me feel horrible. And it really is. I'm really sad about it, and I'm doing my best here. But I'm just going to go home for a little bit so that I could just be surrounded by people who love me and treat me the way I think I should be treated. And I'm really sorry, but I'll be back. I'll be back. There's also FaceTime. We can also FaceTime. Oh my God. I won't allow it. You don't allow anything. Ugh. And she's like, I feel bad that nobody trusts me. I'm like, girl, don't feel bad they don't trust you. Don't feel bad that they do not trust you. This is him making the same mistakes over and over again. It really sucks, but their brother has been a bad husband. Even if he could not provide for her, he should have been upfront and clear about his limitations and showed up. I agree. It seems Ari doesn't do well with confrontation. She doesn't. She's trying to make them feel like they're okay. The dating doula. Bridget, I'm sorry. I didn't contact you last week. It was the craziest week in my life. Bottom line, Benny and his family are not to be trusted. He married a woman who was not Ethiopian, and he treated her as if she was. Yeah. He's like, oh, it's okay. You want a specialist? We'll go to a specialist. She's like, we don't have money for a specialist. You don't have money for a specialist. Okay? So what's going to end up happening is my parents are going to end up paying for said specialist when it's cheaper for them to just pay for a flight. It's cheaper for them to just pay for a flight. And that's what I'm going to do. I just don't get it. Like, you don't have any money, you don't have anything, you don't do anything, like, and all of a sudden you want me what? No. My question is, since Ari is leaving for America, will Ari's parents continue to pay for the apartment? She's only supposed to be gone for a month, but I don't think she's actually I think she actually didn't go back from what I'm seeing with the word on the street. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Well, hello, Globe Hopper. Haven't seen you before. When you are stressed and freaked out and in pain, that's not the time to deal with language and cultural barriers. I'm with Ari. Hmm. Previews show her not coming back. What did he do? I don't know. I mean, maybe she's. Listen, could you imagine? I mean, I know she has a nanny in Ethiopia, but could you imagine coming home and this is the first time you've been home since your baby was born? I don't know if this is the first time she's been home since her baby was born. You tell me if I'm right or wrong. But you get home and you're surrounded by love and people who like you and an entire lifestyle that is like conducive, you know, air conditioning, Wi-Fi that's strong. I mean, listen, air conditioning and a strong Wi-Fi, child, what won't I do for air conditioning and a strong Wi-Fi? Okay? There's a precedent of another American woman leaving him. So it's Benny doing too. Oh, that's what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. So, the issue is Benny has not been raised to be a good partner, and his sisters make excuses for him. Ultimately, there's no trust that her husband can provide and that his family will support her. Go Ari. I agree. I don't think there's any reason for her to stay there. Wish is an a-hole. Like, I don't care. Your brother does not have a pot to pee in, and you're going to attack this American woman who's doing the best that she can to try to prove that everything is okay. Who you need to be coaching is your brother. Who you need to not be attacking is Ari and making her feel isolated and unwanted and unloved in a place where you want her to stay. Was it right to bring Leandro? No. But the way you were treating her before Leandro got there, during Leandro's visit, and now you want to sit up here with the yoni steam and the coffee and the honey on your face and cry, you should have thought about that before you were being rude to her. Hmm. Hmm. Ooh. Thank you. I agree. Thank you guys. Thank you for agreeing with me. Thank you. All right, you guys. So that is the end of this episode. Again, as much as I like think their storyline can sometimes be boring, I'm starting to see a different side, and I think it's interesting in what I just pointed out for them. It's that, you know, Binyam's not the man, okay? He's not the man. Also, no Evelyn and Corey this episode, but I did do a spoiler, not a spoiler, but I did talk about their drama that's on the street in the video I did earlier today. So if you want to check it out, there's a lot brewing. Those two are not going to make it, but it looks like next episode we get to meet Jenny, and then a lot of Evelyn continuously calling this woman a whore, which I'm just like, first of all, what's wrong with being a whore? Secondly, you don't know that she's a hoe. Anywho, you guys, I want to thank you guys. We're at an hour and 8 minutes. Woo! 128 people in this room. Can we get some likes? Can I get some likes? Can I get some thumbs ups? Can I get some thumbs up, please? I'll sing the thumbs up song. Thumbs, 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 thumbs it up. Thumbs it up. Thumbs it up. I said thumbs, 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 thumbs it up. Thumbs it up. Thumbs it up. Yeah. All right, you guys have a fantastic evening. Watch the episode if you're interested. If not, I will see you next week. And we'll talk about 90 Day Fiancé the other way next episode. We'll also have Say What with Juan Chris on Wednesdays and a little bit of Love After a Lockup talk next Saturday. You guys have a fantastic week, and remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye. It's 6 p.m. in the evening. It's time to talk 90 Day